Ever walked past a pile of junk and wondered if it could bloom into something special? You're not alone. Upcycled garden ideas turn tired odds and ends into conversation starters, saving landfill space and money while adding a splash of personality. From teacups turned fairy homes to rain boots sprouting fresh herbs, your next project could be hiding in last week's clutter. Ready to get creative using what you already have? Let's roll up our sleeves and see what's possible. Teacup fairy gardens offer a dash of whimsy with almost no effort. Old teacups, forgotten at the back of the cupboard, find new life as tiny landscapes. A bit of moss, a sprinkle of miniature pebbles, and suddenly you've got a magical scene right on your windowsill. These little gardens need minimal space and only a hint of imagination. Children love helping, and adults can't help but smile at their charm. The main challenge? Overwatering. Teacups lack drainage, tough, so use a small spoon when adding water. It's tiny, but it packs a visual punch. Old suitcases gathering dust in your attic can live a second life as charming garden planters. Fill them with gritty soil and plant trailing succulents like string of pearls or burro's tail. Their cascading growth softens hard suitcase edges, turning forgotten luggage into a quirky green conversation starter. Watering can be a balancing act. Vintage suitcases often lack drainage, which succulents require. Drill a few holes underneath or add a layer of pebbles before planting. This simple hack makes old suitcases both decorative and practical, breathing new life into something that might otherwise end up in the trash. Old rain boots collecting dust? Give them a new purpose by turning them into quirky herb planters. Simply poke a few drainage holes, add soil, and plant your favorite herbs. Hang these colorful boots on a wooden fence for instant charm. It's fun, affordable, and keeps plastic out of landfills. Even faded or mismatched boots work. Imperfection adds character. Just remember to water regularly and check for rot. Kids can get involved by painting the boots, choosing herbs, or even naming each planter. This project fits tight spaces and offers fresh basil or parsley within arm's reach. Who knew gardening could be this cheerful? Have an old bicycle wheel collecting dust? Give it new life by turning it into a trellis for morning glories. Just prop the wheel upright, secure it to a fence or stake, and let the vines twist through the spokes. The result, a quirky display that's both eye-catching and eco-friendly. This project isn't just for looks. Morning glories love to climb, and the spokes offer perfect support. However, be aware that the metal can heat up in strong sun. Plant in partial shade for best results. You'll get a vertical garden feature without spending a dime, and your neighbors might start eyeing their own unused junk. Ever looked at shattered terracotta pots and thought, that's trash? Think again. Those jagged pieces can be stacked to craft eye-catching spiral gardens for succulents. The uneven edges create natural levels. Succulents thrive in well-drained soil, and the gaps between pot shards help excess water escape. Setting up is simple. Arrange larger fragments at the base, stacking smaller ones upward in a loose spiral. Fill with gritty soil and tuck in tough succulents like sedum or echeveria. The result? A quirky, low-maintenance piece that suggests you value creativity and resourcefulness over perfection. An old, chipped bathtub tossed aside can spark new life as a quirky flower bed. With some drainage holes and a splash of paint, it becomes a focal point in any garden. Who says elegance requires perfection? Plants don't care about chips, they just want space and sunlight. This creative reuse saves money and keeps waste out of landfills. You'll get curious glances and maybe a few laughs from neighbors. Want to boost pollinator visits? Fill it with bee-friendly blooms. Just remember, bathtubs are heavy, so pick the right spot before adding soil. Turn ordinary mason jar lids into eye-catching wind chimes by adding pressed flower inserts. This project breathes new life into kitchen odds and ends while highlighting nature's artistry. Kids love collecting blossoms, adults appreciate the gentle sound, and your garden gains a conversation starter that costs next to nothing. Pressed flowers aren't just pretty, they tell a story about your space and seasons. Choose blooms from your own backyard for a personal touch. Just remember, the metal lids can rust, so hang your wind chime in a sheltered spot or give them a coat of clear sealant. Old wooden pallets can turn into a clever vertical strawberry garden. This setup saves ground space and puts berries right at eye level. Drill holes for drainage, fill with soil, and tuck in strawberry plants. Watering is simple, and harvesting becomes almost too easy. No more crawling in the dirt. However, wooden pallets sometimes contain chemicals or pests. Choose heat-treated pallets and wash them well before use. This method adds rustic charm while giving old wood new purpose. If you're short on space or patience for weeding, this project might just be your garden's new best friend. Colorful soda can lanterns bring a spark of personality to any garden. With just a few empty cans, a bit of wire, and some paint, anyone can craft striking lanterns that gleam in the evening. Why throw away what could glow up your backyard gatherings? They're cheap, eco-friendly, and surprisingly sturdy. Just be sure to file any sharp edges for safety. Rain? No problem. Aluminum doesn't rust. Some might say soda cans look out of place, but once the sun goes down and the lights flicker, skeptics usually ask how you made them. Cracked mirror mosaic stepping stones can turn an ordinary path into a sparkling highlight. Sunlight bouncing off the glass brings a magical effect to the garden, creating shifting patterns and surprising flashes of color. Old mirrors get a second life, sparing them from landfill and adding a hint of intrigue to your outdoor space. Safety is key. Smooth, sharp edges with sandpaper or grout to avoid nasty cuts. Some may worry about glare, but careful placement under partial shade can help. This budget-friendly idea lets creativity run wild, and every stone tells its own little story. Why settle for dull concrete? Old drawers can become an eye-catching fountain. Stack them at an angle, drill holes for water flow, then add a submersible pump. Aquatic plants like water lettuce or creeping jenny spill over the edges, softening the look. Why toss furniture when you can give it fresh purpose outdoors? Maintenance does require some effort. Algae can build up and pumps need cleaning. But the payoff, a soothing trickle and bursts of greenery, beats buying a generic garden feature. This project asks for creativity, not a fat wallet. Who knew upcycling could sound this peaceful? Old chairs with sagging seats often end up at the curb, but they can become quirky planters. Place the frame in your garden, fill the seat cavity with soil, and tuck in trailing vines like sweet potato or ivy. The vines will spill over, bringing a burst of green to forgotten furniture. This approach is cost-effective and eco-friendly, but be cautious with wooden frames. They may rot without proper treatment. Try painting or sealing the wood first. This small step adds longevity and a splash of color, proving that even broken chairs can still have a second act worth applauding. Old tires often clutter garages. Why not give one a second chance as a bold tire swing planter? Suspend it from a sturdy tree, fill it with soil, and pack in a riot of marigolds or petunias. The color contrast grabs attention and adds flair to any yard. Careful drainage is key. Drill a few holes in the bottom to prevent soggy roots. This quirky planter may need occasional touch-ups with outdoor paint, but the result is worth it. Friends might raise an eyebrow, but they'll remember your garden long after leaving. Old tin cans can find new life as bug hotels, quietly supporting your backyard's ecosystem. Stuff them with twigs, pine cones, or bamboo, and tuck them beneath leafy shrubs. The dense foliage keeps guests safe from harsh weather, while the recycled cans offer cozy shelter for ladybugs and solitary bees. This low-cost project requires little effort but delivers surprising benefits. You'll soon spot more pollinators visiting your garden beds. Keep in mind, though, not every insect will move in. Wasps and ants might pass by. Still, you're helping local wildlife while reducing waste. Why not give it a try? Who thought an old wooden ladder could steal the show in your backyard? Lean it against a fence, place planks across the rungs, and presto, instant display shelves. Stack colorful pots on each step. The varying heights create a waterfall of flowers, adding eye-level interest and drawing curious glances. Repurposing ladders means less waste and more charm. However, double-check the stability. A wobbly ladder sends petunias crashing before you can say recycle. Paint or seal the wood for extra durability, especially in rainy climates. This simple trick delivers big character with minimal effort, no green thumb required. Old shutters rarely get a second glance, yet they can become a quirky herb garden on your shed. Mount them vertically, add a few small pots, and fill with basil, mint, or chives. It's visually striking and puts fresh flavors right at your fingertips. No fancy carpentry needed. Of course, weathered wood may need a quick paint job or sealant to last outdoors. but the benefits outweigh that minor effort. You'll save space, upcycle materials, and spark conversations with guests who spot oregano growing where glass used to be. Why not let your garden reflect your resourcefulness? Old colanders make surprisingly clever hanging baskets. Their holes offer perfect drainage for delicate lobelia roots. Fill one with soil, pop in your trailing plants, and hang it by a sunny doorway. The metal adds charm, while the lobelia spills down like a waterfall. Simple, affordable, and visually striking. However, some colanders may rust over time, so pick stainless steel or enamel-coated options. Spray paint can add color if you fancy a quirky look. Why buy new when yesterday's kitchenware can turn your garden into a conversation starter? Give your plants and your old colander a second act. Old jeans pockets make clever seedling pouches. Just cut them out, tack them onto your fence, and fill with soil. These pouches keep seedlings tidy and off the ground. Who knew your worn-out denim could help sprout tomatoes or basil? Plus, they drain well, so roots rarely get soggy. Of course, denim fades and frays in weather. Expect to replace pouches each season. Still, it's a smart way to recycle, add a splash of color, and save money on plant pots. Try grouping pockets by color or size for a quirky patchwork effect that sparks conversation. Old bicycle baskets make charming floral displays. Placing one on a garden post, then stuffing it with wildflowers, instantly adds color and whimsy. It's a simple, low-cost way to recycle what's gathering dust in your garage. Why buy new planters when you can give an old item fresh purpose? There's a catch. Bicycle baskets aren't built for soil or water retention. To avoid a soggy mess, line the inside with burlap or landscape fabric before adding flowers. This quick fix helps your bouquet last longer and keeps cleanup easy. Reuse, beautify, and spark conversation all at once. Old, rusted watering cans often end up forgotten, but they can serve a new purpose as garden art. By stacking rocks and tucking moss around them, you can create a striking waterfall effect. Run a small pump through the can's spout for moving water. It's simple and cost-effective. However, maintaining a mossy look can take some elbow grease. Moss dries out quickly in full sun, and pumps need the occasional clean-out. Still, the charm far outweighs the upkeep. Visitors may find themselves asking, "Where can I get one?" which is a much better fate for a watering can than the landfill. Some see a dented metal mailbox as scrap, but a gardener sees a quirky planter. Why toss it when it can cradle succulents by the gate? The metal's weathered look adds character, while drainage holes keep roots happy. Passers-by may even stop to snap a photo, unexpected curb appeal. Maintenance is refreshingly low. Succulents thrive in shallow soil and shrug off neglect. However, metal heats up in the sun. Place the mailbox where it gets partial shade, or line it with coconut fiber. Repurposing this eyesore into a living accent is a win for creativity and the planet. Upcycled garden ideas bring charm and creativity to any outdoor space. Why settle for ordinary when old rain boots or chipped bathtubs can grow herbs and flowers? With just a little imagination, even a bicycle wheel becomes a blooming focal point. Ready to roll up your sleeves? Start small, maybe a teacup fairy garden or a soda can lantern. Each project saves money and keeps waste out of landfills. Your garden could be the most talked about spot on the block. Give it a try. Eco-friendly garden art, sustainable garden decor ideas, upcycled crafts, recycled metal art, recycled fabric art.